Start with political plays of the week. Bill Vickery, Jessica Deloche here to kind of break down these things. Let's stay there on the gun control question. Does this second mass shooting open up any control aspects that we should be watching for? Or should it?
I'll let my colleague here go first.
You know, let's be very clear here. It's not the second mass shooting. At this point, people are losing count. It is a conversation that Bill and I never like to come in here and have to talk about this, because the reality of it is painful. And again, what you've seen, you have people who immediately go to gun rights and ownership and regulation, and there's a gigantic fight that breaks down on the side of the Second Amendment. When I really wish what we would see more of is our capacity as a nation to have a conversation about sensible things that can keep us safe, because the shooter in this situation, this murderer, this crazy person, this person had access to firearms when he had a record of being abusive. I shouldn't have to sit here and talk about a person who's been abusive, who has a record of being abusive, who got his hands on a gun and murdered a bunch of people in a place of worship. That is unacceptable. We are so much better than this, and we are doing nothing to address it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything that Jessica just said, but the laws that are in place today should have prevented this. The fact that the Air Force, somebody inside didn't turn in the paperwork which allowed him to get access to a weapon and own, you know, that was a breakdown in the system, and then you see what you see today. I don't know that we blame an inanimate object for something that a crazy person does. It's an issue in the country that I think it's peculiar to me that not necessarily my friend here to my left, but those on the left will rush to politicize the issue like this. But then if for some reason he had screamed Allah Akbar, we would be having a debate about Islam. And so there is a I believe that in America we have the right to be as stupid as we want to be from time to time. The reality with gun control becomes this. It's sort of like the speed limit. I mean, what works in Manhattan does not work in Butte, Montana. And we are a wide and varied country, and we should have the right to express ourselves and be ourselves throughout that country. But you know, to propose or to watch some on the left, and again, I don't want to put Jessica in that situation because she and I have talked about this at great length, have a lot of respect for her, and I think she comes from a place that's very sincere and real. But the notion that somehow more laws, we already had a law in place, it just did not work in this case.
You know, I think that Bill makes this point about this nation being able to be allowed to be as stupid as it wants to be. Yeah. And I think what this all comes down to is that anytime something tragic happens, how can you have a constructive conversation where you can actually move the needle forward and see some progress? Yeah. And we're not getting there. We end up having the same conversations based on a handful of statistics or little data points that break down around every scenario. If you have someone show up and make some religious proclamation before they commit a crime, then sure enough, you can bet what the conversation is going to be about. We are not having conversations in constructive ways to get things done in this country.
There is a practicality that does seem to be missing. I'll agree on that.
Guys, thank you so much. Yep. We appreciate that. 6:52 is your time on a finally Friday. Got a little break to happen, and Hayden's got to look at your forecast.